Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Lagos, good morning to you. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praises be to the Almighty Allah for bringing us here again. Today is, of course, the 10th day of Ramadan, and we bid you welcome to the show. It's called The Light, by the way, brought to you by Nigeria Info 99.3. That's right. And we're reaching you live from Etim Inyang, Crescent, Victoria Island in Lagos, Nigeria. I am Sheriff Quadry, and this show is live, by the way. We're reaching you live. You can watch on Facebook. You can also watch on YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3 is how you can join us. That's right. Nigeria Info 99.3 is how you can watch this show live on Facebook and on YouTube. Today is our question and answer day, which means you are very, very much welcome to send in all the questions that you've got. Trust me, the 1 hour will not be enough to handle. It's never enough to handle all the questions that we've got for stars on question and answer. We're gonna have 3 within the course of Ramadan. Okay, on the 20th day we would have, and on the 29th day we would have as well. So this is the first for this season. So feel free to send in your questions to WhatsApp number, which is 0809 597 5805 on WhatsApp. If you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, you can also drop your questions in the comment section of our live feeds that you're watching. Okay, you can drop your questions there as well. If you prefer to call into the studio to ask your questions, feel free to do that. The mail only line is 0201 2770993. That is 0201 2770993. 993. Female only line is 0201 465 7190. That is 0201 465 7190. Let's bring on our Ustadh. Ustadh Hashim Ibrahim joins us. Ustadh, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Mubarak, Ustaz. Now, let's begin without further ado. Let's begin. We have calls that are, we will take some calls when they come in. Of course, yes, we will. And please, when you're calling in for your questions, I would implore you, please go straight to the point so we can take as many calls as possible. It's very, very important we manage the time. We help ourselves to manage time very well, okay? And if you're sending in your questions as well, just go straight to the point so we can get to your question as quickly as possible as well. Ustaz, let me begin with my own question. Let me start with this one. Let's assume that someone misses a salat. Let's say, what can we use now? Let's say Zuhr. The person, for some reason, couldn't observe Zuhr. Maybe they were writing exams or something. And, Asri is now here now, so they want to observe both together. The niyat for Zuhr, does it change from the normal niyat if the person had wanted to observe Zuhr at the right time? Is there a different niyat for that than when the person wants to observe Zuhr at maybe at a later time? Ustaz, we can't hear you. You should check your mic. I think you're on mute or something.
Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahabihi wa man wala. So we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We beseech praises and adorations on the soul of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his household, his companions, and the generality of the Muslim Ummah till the day of recompense. So on that particular question, the question about for someone who misses Salatul Zuhr and then it's time for Salatul Asri, and then he decides to pray his Salatul Zuhr first before praying Asri, or he wants to join the Jama'ah for Salatul Asri to pray his own Zuhr. So is he going to be taking another intention? The answer is clear. Now, as I've always mentioned, at-talaffuzu bin-niyya, saying an intention with our mouth, saying that Allahumma inni nawaitu Salatul Zuhr or Salatul Asri, all those things that we say, so constitutes a form of innovation. It wasn't like that in the deen before now. It's not something that was recorded, that was done by the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam or his followers. That's the Sahabas or the Tabi'in, or the first three generations in general. So most of our forefathers that brought up all this Nawaitu did it as a way to teach us. Yeah. So at the point of performing ablution and going to the masjid, you have already, taken the intention for a particular salah that you want to go and pray. So if what you have in your mind is that I want to go and pray Zuhr, for example, and it is time for Asr, you have already taken the intention for Zuhr. So just join that Jama'ah so that you can take the full reward for praying your Zuhr in Jama'ah. In reality, after you finish your Zuhr, you will always see people that are always late behind for their own Asri. That would form a new congregation for Asri that you can also join to pray your own Asri. So just because you want to take the reward for praying Zuhr in Jama'ah, join the ones that want to pray Asri and pray it with them. And you can do this for any Salat. You missed Asri, they are praying Maghrib, join them in that Maghrib. The only thing you would do is that when they sit down, to do the Taslim after the third rakah, you would not sit down. You rise up again to complete your own fourth rakah and do your Taslim, so that you will take the full reward for praying that particular Asri in Jama'ah. Allahu
Alam, Ustadh. Olusogaja says, my question is, what is the Islamic ruling on cryptocurrency, forex trading, and Ponzi scheme?
Yeah, so for forex trading, Islam's position on forex trading is clear. You only use what you have to do an exchange. You cannot exchange what we call al-bay'u al-majhul. You cannot exchange what is not apparent, what you cannot see like this. Also, you cannot exchange what is not yours, what does not belong to you. Now, if you are doing forex trading and somebody comes to meet you, I want to exchange $500, for example. It has to be that at that point, you are exchanging, giving the person $500 and getting the Naira equivalent instantly. It should be an instant transaction. And it should be one wahadan bi wahadin. This is the person selling, and I'm the one buying. And we are doing it instantly. Not that, let me send the dollars to you today. I will now go and come and get the Naira tomorrow. No. It has to be instant. Take, I take. Take, give me, I take. This is yours, this is mine. And we exchange and the deal is done. So, only if we do it that way, concerning forex trading, that will be halal in the Sharia. A day, even if it is as much as a day difference between when you got one currency and you're getting another currency, it will have constituted a form of what I just said now, al-bay'u al-majhul. So, that is for forex trading. For cryptocurrency, there are still ongoing discussions among scholars, most especially scholars that are on Islamic finance, and then scholars on halal investment. That is their own forte. They are still having these discussions around cryptocurrency and every form of other, or what do we call them now? Digital financial transactions. Why? Because these things are new. And so scholars have to study it extensively before they can pass extensive fatwas, around it. But for scholars that agree that you can even trade in cryptocurrency, their position is that it's a form of exchange that has value. So you can exchange what has value. But for those scholars that are against it, they are saying that, until you can start spending, these currencies, like fiat currencies, the same way you spend your naira, same way you spend your dollar, and then you are a determinant of what makes it either profitable or loss. You know, for now, as of today, people that even delve into cryptocurrencies, you are not a determinant of how you gain or you lose. You get it's something that something as small as a tweet from an account that holds a particular coin can determine if that coin is going to be profitable today. You know, something as low as someone's statement somewhere can determine how a coin will lose today. So the power for profit and loss is not on you that you are trading in that particular currency. So those scholars that are against it, that is their position. That until you are able to determine the scale of profit or loss, like fiat currency, they feel that it is part of what we call al-bay' al-majhul. They don't have clear-cut understanding of that profit and loss element in that particular trade for cryptocurrencies. So yes, we have scholars that agree that allow it. We also have scholars that are of the opinion that we should stay away from it till it is clear of any form of ambiguity.
Okay.
So any form of trade that is ambiguous in nature, Sharia frowns against it. Allah Alam.
So how about Ponzi scheme? Okay, well, I think you've answered that already. Anyways, Ponzi schemes, we don't even know what they sell.
Yeah, you don't even know what they are trading in. You don't know the profits, you don't know the loss, you don't know anything about it. So, in fact, that one is even clearer than cryptocurrency. For Ponzi schemes, it's even clearer than cryptocurrency. Don't even go near those ones at all. Because at the long run, you will just end up losing your money. Allah.
But Ustadh, you know, I want us to stay on these forex, crypto a little bit. So there are a lot of dodgy forex traders, dodgy cryptocurrency traders, you know, that they collect people's investment, you know, with the guys that they are going to help them trade and then give them this and that, which in actual fact, they're actually Ponzi. They are bringing people in, give them a little profit, first time, second time, the third time like this, all your money don't go. So in essence, what I'm saying is, what if someone goes into forex or crypto by proxy, like you're giving somebody your money to help trade for you, but you actually believe in your mind, you're convinced that that person is doing the right thing, but then in actual fact, that person is not a trader. He doesn't even know jack about it. Will you still be, I don't know, punished for that?
Yeah. So as Muslims, that have this of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that la tazul qadama abdin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not free a particular slave until he has been asked of four things. Now, he mentioned a lot of things. Then he mentioned an malihi mimma iktasabahu. He will ask you about your wealth. How did you get it? So you have to be able to explain. You yourself have to be able to explain, how am I making this 5 naira? How am I making this 100 naira? You have to be able to explain. So if you are in any form of transaction that is ambiguous to you yourself, that if somebody wakes you up today and say that this particular money that you used to buy this car, can you explain how you're able to put it together 100,000, 200,000 before it became 5, 10, 15 million, 30 million? Can you explain? I just gave money to somebody to help me trade there, or I just invested in something. What is that person selling? I don't really know. So you don't know what the person is selling. You don't know how the person is using your money to trade. You don't know the kind of transactions that person is doing. So Sharia frowns against it. You have to be able to know to details, to the last detail, that this is how I am making this 1 naira. This is how I'm making this 20 naira. So that you are clear of mind that you are not partaking in any form of haram. So in fact, this is why some scholars are of the opinion that even conventional banks that use our monies for investments, we should be able to decipher and decide that, please, I don't know the kind of investments you want to put your money into, but I would not want my own money to be in this kind of investments. At a point, if you feel like, okay, fine, I cannot decide for you, then take your money away from there and go to Islamic banks that you know that they will never use your money to do any form of wrong transactions. So this is for Muslims. Don't at any point in time make sure that you are able to decipher where my each one naira is coming from. Let me be able to know. So if you are giving your money to somebody to trade for you, and you yourself, you feel like this person is a dodgy person, then you already know in your mind, like in your mind, that you are not clear about that money, about whatever profit that person is giving out to you. At the long run, the person might even end up frauding you at a point. So what is better for you is to invest with people that are of good character and are of clear conscience, that that will never partake in any form of haram in their own transactions.
Right.
It's better for you to. So there's nothing wrong in you giving your money to somebody and say that, go and help me trade with this particular money. So I've seen people that take their zakat and when they give it out to someone, they will tell this person, I want to give you this amount as zakat. So, but I'm not going to give you as cash. So I'm doing a business. I would help you invest this particular money that I want to give you as zakat into my business. So every time we get profits, you get this particular amount. So you are a part of the day-to-day transactions. You are seeing what is happening. So that is the person that is giving you his own money as zakat. Yet, I know if I give, say for example, I want to give you 5 million as zakat, but I know that if I give it to you right now, you'll probably go and use to do something that will not be profitable. So instead of that, let me put it in my business for you. So okay, fine. Let's now know what are the financial statements and all that. We are sharing the profits, we are sharing the losses, together. So that is clear. If it's people like that, then there is no problem. But if it's people that you yourself know that these guys who are a bit dodgy, then stay away from them. Allah
Alam. My next question is an adult question. So if you have a child listening to this program, you may want to keep them away from this next question. It's an adult question. Please, I would give you like a minute or so to do that. While we're waiting for you to keep the children away from my next question, let me also announce that after this particular question, I would open up the telephone lines so I can take questions via the telephone lines as well. The numbers are 0201 277 0993 and 0201 465 7190 for female line. The second number is for female callers, so feel free to make use of it. But if you'd like to send your questions in via WhatsApp number is 0809 597 5805 on WhatsApp. So, Ustadh, this person says, what is the Islamic ruling on having, when you're intimate with your partner, what is the Islamic ruling on having oral intimacy with your partner?
Yeah. So, the ruling on oral intimacies, it's a bit technical. Let me use that. Let me use the word technical. So, let me start from not just oral now. Sexual intercourse and the Sharia between spouses. It's supposed to be mutual agreements and mutual enjoyment. Mutual agreement means that none of the parties must be forced to do it. So neither the man must be forced or the woman must. It has to be a mutual agreement. I want to do it, you want to do it, fine. The other part is that it now has to be mutual enjoyment. None of the parties must enjoy more than the other. It has to be 50-50. Yeah, 50-50, or say 50-50 to become 100. So which means that the both of you must attain the same level of enjoyment and the same level of satisfaction. So everything that you know to do to make either of your spouses satisfied is allowed in the Sharia. anything that you need to do to make either of the both spouses satisfied is allowed in the Sharia. That is how some scholars agree to the fact that you can do oral intimacy. But if you take, you must also give. So you cannot be the receiver and not give. So it has to be 50-50. If you're taking, you must also give. I think that should answer the context like that. So if you know that I cannot give, then don't take.
Okay. All right.
I think that should answer it like that.
Do me, I do you. God no go vex. That's
yes. So it is a ruling for sexual intercourse in Sharia. It has to be 50. The both of you has to get to the same level of satisfaction. So not that one person will say, me, I'm tired. You are tired, yes. But that level of satisfaction you got to, you have to make the other spouse get to that satisfaction. So any other thing you know to do to get that other person satisfied too, then you have to do it according to the Sharia.
Ustadh, let me ask this my question. So I have a couple of questions, but let me ask this one. This one is like, there are no easy questions actually, because we don't know it. That's why we're asking. In Islam, alcohol is forbidden. How about smoking, cigarette, or any other kind of, smoke, shisha, all of those things? How about those?
Yeah, so there is no direct verse in the Quran or Hadith that talks about smoking to place it as either halal or haram. So, but there's a context in the Quran that makes it haram. Allah says, do not by your hand, aydikum ila tahalluka. Don't by your hand use it to buy anything that would harm you or harm your life. Now, even the people that are producers of cigarettes, they put it on it that smokers are liable to die young. Now, if as a person you know that this thing is going to make me die young, and you still go and buy it, then what you're saying is that you are agreeing to the fact that this thing would harm me, but I want it. And in the Sharia, as I usually mention, is that you are liable to say that you are committing suicide. You are liable to say it to someone that wants to take his own life by himself. So, and then it is at that point that it now becomes haram. Now, there are different kinds of cigarettes. If you go to the Arab world, they have a kind of cigarettes called that is menthol that they take, during their dry season dry season, Ramadan and all that. So just to clear their throat and all that. They do not take it as an habit. They take it as a stopgap at that particular season. And you will see that after that season, you rarely see them taking it again. Same with this shisha. They take it as a form of tea and all that before it came into our own world here and became something else entirely. So all these ones, there are no rulings that says that it is haram. But there are rulings that says that if you are now using it at the point, you are taking it to a point that is already harming your own health, harming your organs, then we would agree that does not become haram for you to smoke.
Hello. So I'm going to ask another of my questions that I have here, and I don't know how long it will take for us, but let me just ask, because we have a break coming up at 4:45. Take us through what happens on the day of Qiyamah. I know it's a very long explanation, but as brief as you can summarize it, we would appreciate it. We would appreciate that.
Yeah, so relatedly, according to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in the Holy Quran, a lot of happenings would happen on the day of Qiyamah. In fact, before the day of Qiyamah, there are a lot of things that would come around that would have been happening. So on the day of Qiyamah, it now becomes a form of, how would I put it now? A form of an end to something that has started happening. Yeah. So there are going to be different occurrences. There are going to be before we now say this world has come to an end. Now, after the world has now come to an end, we now say, yes, the day of Qiyamah has come. That particular day, Allah says that that day would be a day of reckoning for a lot of our things that we have done. The first place that would start from is where we call the Asarat. It is a bridge that everybody has to cross. So the bridge of Sirat is a bridge that everybody has to cross. Underneath the bridge is hellfire. So for those that, have good deeds, they will pass through the bridge as if they didn't even know that they have passed through it. Some will pass through it with stress. They will pass through, but it will be with stress. They will feel the heat of hellfire, but they will pass through it. Some will never be able to pass through it. And at the point they are on that bridge, they will drop into hellfire. And from there, their own punishment has started. So after that bridge, then we get to Al-Baytul Qudra, where you are going to be weighing your deeds, the good deeds, the bad deeds, the good deeds, and the bad deeds. That's why the Prophet ﷺ says that on the day of Qiyamah, there will be some people that they call Al-Muflisun, those that will be lessened like a big balloon that now became busted or lessened. And then they asked that, who are these people going to be? The Prophet said, they are people that I have prayed, that I have fasted, that have gone to Hajj, that have done all the good things that Allah says they should do in this world. And then the Sahaba said, why would they still enter fire? Or why would they still become, lessened? The Prophet said, because they have, usurped the wealth of this one. They have talked about this one behind his back. They have done this one for they have ganged up against this one behind his back. They have done things that they did not apologize for whilst they were alive. So on the day of judgment, everybody you have offended will come and say, well, you offended me. How do you not want to apologize? The problem is that you cannot say I'm sorry again that day. What will now happen is that they will now take out of your good deeds and give that person, and take out of that person's bad deeds and add it to your own scale.
Allah.
So if they are taking salat from you, adding lying to your own scale, what happens is that your good scale becomes lower and your bad scale becomes higher. And at that point, that Allah says that, after they have now done all that, the weighing has been done, Ikra kitabaka. Read your own book by yourself. It is upon you for you to decide your own fate by yourself, just by seeing what you are weighing. So desire your own fate. Decide your own fate by yourself after you have read your own book. So people will now say, Allah, on that day, our mouths will be sealed. So our mouths will be sealed. These hands, they will be the one talking, telling you all the deeds that you have done, saying it out. The legs too will be confirming that I was also there. It took me there when he was going to do this, when he was going to do this. When he was going to the masjid, we used to go together. When he was going to the bar, we used to also go together. People can't exhibit. So nothing out of everything you have done would not be shown unto you. Everything will be shown to you from A to Z.
Wow.
Now, after that now comes the Shifa. That is where the Prophet ﷺ would be given chance to intercede for some of the Muslims that might have had, wrong things. Yes, the balance of their bad deeds might outweigh their good deeds, but because they identified as followers of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet will now come and intercede on their behalf. So that's why the Prophet is called Ash-Shafi'ul Mushaffa'in, the intercessor. On the day of interceding, he would come and intercede on behalf of Muslims on that day.
Mm.
And then it now becomes those are going to hellfire, those that are going to Jannah, and then there is a space between hellfire and Jannah called Al-A'raf. So that space is for the people that Allah regarded as munafiqun. So the munafiqin are here. So those ones will be at the middle of hellfire and Jannah. They would feel the enjoyment of Jannah once in a while because they might have been prayer, Muslims that prayed and all that. They will also feel the heat of hellfire once in a while because of their other bad deeds that is in their mind. They will be there for years before another intercession will now come from the Prophet ﷺ, who will now intercede on their behalf that please Allah, allow them to go into Jannah. They have suffered enough for these deeds that they did unknowingly or the ones that they did knowingly. Allah
Alam, Ustaz. I'm going to follow up with another question very quickly. And this one is similar to this last question. And it is about what happens when someone dies. Immediately someone dies. What happens?
Now, Prophet ﷺ says that it's a mamata qad qamat qiyamatuhu. Anybody that dies, your own qiyamah has started from the day you enter into the grave. So the difference between a dead person and a person that sleeps, they don't have any difference. The only difference is that the sleeping person would wake up back into the world. The dead person too will wake up. It will only wake up in a place called Barzakh. The Barzakh is where we call Multaq al-Arwah. Is where these our souls all meet together. Even those of us that are alive, our souls go there on a daily basis. The only reason is that we come back. Whilst we are asleep, our souls go to the Barzakh. That is why we are able to see your great grandfather that is dead. See how we sat down, we had a discussion. My father that is dead. We sat down, he spoke to me about this. The place that your soul goes to is what we call Barzakh. And that is the place that all souls will be until the day of judgment. So, but for souls that are supposed to start, getting their own reward, they would have started getting the reward whilst they are at that Barzakh. That's why you see that some people tell you that I dreamt that I saw my dad. He was sharing gifts to people. Or I dreamt that I saw my dad. He was praying salat. He was doing this one. Because those are the things he used to do in the world. And his soul is still in a place that he has not, the day of Qiyamah is not here yet. So all souls will be at that place. Your own soul too goes there on a daily basis whilst you are asleep. So you go there, you see them, you see dead people, you see even people that are alive like you too, that you had a discussion yesterday. You now realize that you get to your dream and you are continuing the same discussion that you had yesterday. Your souls will meet together at Barzakh and you are having those kind of meetings. So that is the place every soul will be. But at the first night that the soul enters the grave, two angels will come, Munkar and Nakir. They would come and then they wake the person up. They'll be the one to wake the person up and tell the person, welcome, you are no longer in that place of lie. The world is regarded as home of lies, of deception. This place you are is the place of truth. So the first question is Man Rabbuka, who is your Lord? So, and then they ask other subsequent questions. Ma dinuka, what religion were you practicing? Ma kitabuka, which book were you reading? And so all this, that's why one of the things that we do as Muslims when we bury our Muslim is to remind that person. We do what we call a telqeen. So we remind the person, remember that when you are in this world, your Rabbu, your Lord was Allah. So when the angels come and ask you, who is your Rabbu? Make sure that you are able, we pray that Allah makes it easy for you to tell them that Rabbi Allah, that Allah is my Rabbu, and other questions that they'll be asking. So when that now happens, if it is someone that's able to answer the question successfully, the grave will be widened for that person. And at every day, all the salats that person has prayed would come and be visiting that person every day. Subhi salat, slowly salat, asr salat, and the person will be in a state of enjoyment. But if it is somebody that at that point was not able to answer the question, was not able to do a lot of things, is somebody that, is liable to suffer. That suffering will start from the grave at that particular point too. The person will be bounded, and from that bounding, that person will be, punished for every bad thing that he has done. So the soul gets punishment. That's why some people say, I dreamt that I saw this dead person. He was just walking about. I saw him, he sat down somewhere, he was crying. I saw him bounded with chains and all that. That is the reality of that person at that point. Allah Alam.
Allah Alam. Jazakumullah khairan, ya Ustaz. It's 4:43 right now from our studios, and if you're just tuning in, we are live here on Nigeria Info 99.3. The show is called The Light, and it comes your way every Ramadan night here on Nigeria Info, right? And you're most welcome. It's our question and answer day, it's Q&A day on The Light, which means you can ask us any question whatsoever about Islam. Yes, that's what you can. We don't go political. We don't do politics. We don't do all of those things. It's strictly about the Deen, Islam. That's the questions that we're taking this morning. So feel free to send your question. WhatsApp number is 0809 597 5805 on WhatsApp. That is 0809 597 5805 on WhatsApp. The studio lines, I would start taking the calls after this break that we're about to head out to right now. The studio lines are 0201 277 0993. That is 0201 277 0993. Male only line. That is the male only line. The female only line. Only females can call this line. It is 0201 465 7190. That is 0201 465 7190. That's female only line. So we're going to take this break. When we return, we'll start with some calls that would be coming in. Then we'll delve into this question here about marrying older women in Islam. The person wants to know the position of the Deen on it. That will be our next question after a few calls. Lagos will be right back. Stay with us. Let's get a message in from the sponsor of the last 15 minutes of the program, Cowbell. We'll be right back.
So creamy, so good.
Aisha, why do you have so many tins and sachets of cowbell?
Oh, it's what I plan to share this Ramadan.
My sister, you can start by sharing some with me now.
Oh yeah, take. It's Ramadan after all. In this holy month, share the nourishing goodness of cowbell with friends and family. It contains vitamin B9, Vitarich, and it's so creamy, so good. Ramadan Kareem.
Cowbell of creamy goodness.
And now, The Light.
The Light.
Welcome back. Now I can start taking your calls right now. Please, when you're calling in, turn off your radio so we can hear you very clearly once your call is picked here. We don't get to hear the whole back. The whole back can quite be discomforting, okay? Please bear with us. Just turn off your radio first before you call in because, for everybody's benefit. So let's quickly jump on this question, or let's start with a couple calls here. Let's start with this one here. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
You're calling the female line, sir. Please call the male line. The male line is pretty much active as well. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Yes, please. Turn off your radio, please. Okay. Let's hear you. What's your question?
Hello?
Yes, please, we can hear you. What's your question? All right. Just so we're clear, this is not the question and answer where you get to win gift. No, we're not there yet, okay? So if you're calling for that, there's no need for you to call for that right now. This is the part where we're still doing Q&A with Ustadh. Whatever question that you've got with Ustadh, you can, put them across. This is not the Q&A for winning gift. All right, so Ustaz, let me take this one from Kazim. Kazim says, Ustaz, please, in Islam, is it right for a man to marry older woman of age gap 5 years to the man?
100%. In fact, you can marry somebody that is older than you for 20 years. It's not, age is not a compelling factor for marriage in the Sharia. So far, the both of you agree to marry yourselves, and you agree on the fact that you are marrying according to the Sharia dictates, which means that you have to seek for the hand in marriage. You have to pay the sadaq, that is the mahar. The parents have to, or any guardian have to say that yes, we are agreeing that this person should marry you and all that. Then there's no age is not a barrier for marriage in the Sharia. Allah Alam.
Hello, Ustaz. Let me ask a follow-up question to that, perhaps two, depending. But I think I have a call here. Let me jump on this call, Ustaz, so I'll come back to my question. Assalamu alaikum. Yes, please.
Please, I want to ask, what is the Islamic perspective on when you are fasting and a non-Muslim said you should buy him food or water?
Food or water, right?
Yes.
Okay.
In the midst of fasting.
Okay, while you're fasting. All right. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Besides, he would like to know the ruling on you buying food or water for a non-Muslim whilst you are fasting.
Yeah, so there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. You can buy food for anybody. You can. So far, you are not the one consuming the food. So you can buy food for anybody. You can buy water for anybody. Nothing wrong with that. Assalamu
alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. So my question goes as this: first, if your ambition is being spoiled, maybe you have a running stomach, then I want to know for how many times will you do your ablution for you to stop when you have a consistent when you are consistent fatting.
Okay.
And second, I want to know if someone can hold its fat. Is it permissible in Sharia?
Okay.
So that's the two questions.
All right.
So why?
Oh, sorry. So sorry. I thought you were done. So sorry about that. If you still have more questions, please call back. Okay, my friend, please call back. Besides, 2 questions. Did you get them?
So yeah, I'll start from the second one.
Right.
About holding in fat.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not permissible for you to hold in fat. In fact, any form of excretion that wants to come out of your body whilst you are during salat, maybe it is pee, maybe it is number 2, maybe it is fat. Do not hold it in and say, I don't want to miss this salat. Leave the salat, go and ease yourself, and then come back. Don't hold it in. The second part is that
how many times?
For ablution.
Yes.
For ablution. Depending on the diagnosis you are getting for that particular fat that comes intermittently. So if it is diagnosis that says that this is a health problem, then what you should do is after the 3rd ablution, then keep praying. You just keep praying, don't disturb yourself. So, but if it is not an health problem, if it is maybe something that you consumed by yourself, then leave that salat totally, relieve yourself of whatever it is, that whatever you need to use to relieve yourself, then come back to pray. That is after the 3rd time. You have done the ablution 1st time, 2nd time, 3rd time. And it may be because you ate beans and egg or something, and you keep, so leave the salat, ease yourself, and then come back to pray. But if it is regarded as an health problem, maybe a symptom of an underlying health issue or something that you don't even know, then after the 3rd one, you are liable to take another ablution the 4th time and keep using that to pray no matter how many times you fast afterwards.
Let me quickly jump into the follow-up questions that I wanted to ask you about marriage and all of that. We have less than 2 minutes before our next break, Ustaz. Is marrying an underage girl allowed in Islam?
Yeah. So depends on what you categorize as underage. So in the Sharia, when a girl or a lady or a woman does starts menstruation, starts seeing their period. Now, some scholars will
Ustadh,
say,
please hold on. We'll be right back. Yeah.
Lagos. During the sacred month of Ramadan, one of the cherished traditions is the moment of breaking the fast, known as iftar. It's a time of celebration where loved ones gather to enjoy healthy meals together. A key component of a fulfilling fast is the inclusion of nourishing, creamy, and nutritious dishes to replenish after a day of fasting. And providing your family with cowbell ensures that they have the nourishment they need to endure the fast while maintaining strength and vitality for prayers and daily activities. Now, cowbell is fortified with Vita-Rich and vitamin B9, which supports brain development, making it an ideal choice for individuals seeking both taste and nutritional benefits. Cowbell's creamy goodness is a testament to its commitment to quality and satisfaction. Ramadan also emphasizes the importance of sharing blessings with the less fortunate. Get cowbell today and share that creamy goodness with someone around you. Cowbell offers a range of options in two major variants, powder and evaporated milk, with the following SKUs: 12 grams, 320 grams, 380 grams, and 750 grams for powder and 150 gram teen for the evaporated milk, ensuring that there's something for everyone's needs. You can find cowbell products in stores and retail outlets near you. For more information and updates, follow Cowbell at Cowbell Milk on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. That is Cowbell Milk on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. May the blessings of Ramadan envelop us all as we observe this holy month. Ramadan Kareem.
So creamy, so good.
Aisha, why do you have so many tins and sachets of cowbell?
Oh, it's what I plan to share this Ramadan.
My sister, you can start by sharing some with me now.
Oh yeah, take. It's Ramadan after all. In this holy month, share the nourishing goodness of cowbell with friends and family. It contains vitamin B9, Vita-Rich, and it's so creamy, so good. Ramadan Kareem.
Cowbell, a creamy goodness.
Welcome back, Lagos. So, stars, yes, depending on when a girl starts seeing her.
yeah, menstruating,
Right.
and the visible physical attributes of that particular girl, also the mental capacity to handle marriage at that point. Now, so these differ across for different girls. That's why we cannot center it around a particular age grid and say, oh, until a girl is, say, 25, before you can say they are ready for marriage. Some people blossom before that particular age. They are already mentally ready, they are physically ready, and psychologically they want to get married at that point. Now, one of the goals of the Sharia, that's why Islam encourages early marriage, not marrying underage at this point. So no matter how you want to say it, nobody will say it is right for you to go and marry a 10-year-old girl. That's not what we're saying. So not 10-year-old girl, because even let's assume that she has started menstruating. She is not yet emotionally ready. She's not physically ready for that, and she's not psychologically ready for that. So you are just going to be ticking one of the boxes, which is, oh, she's fertile. She started menstruating. What about the other three parts? Have you considered it before temporary marriage with that person? Now, but Islam tells us to shiwalojukokoro, let me put it that way, to marry early because of two things actually. One is to safeguard ourselves from committing zina. Whether we like it or not, at the point our body will react to the other gender. Whether it's a male reacting to the female or a female reacting to a male. Now, to guard that particular occurrence from leading into zina, Islam says, instead of committing zina, just get married. So get married, and the both of you would live together, and so you would have stayed away from zina, and you'll be doing it the right way. The other part, the other reason why Islam encourages us to get married early is so that whatever the children that we want to give, in fact, they are part of the Sahabas whose grandchildren, what I meant by grandchildren is they have a child, and then the child that was given birth to by their own child, their grandchildren, and the father, the grandfather, the difference in age between them might not be more than 10 years from the grandchildren and the father. Their difference in age will not be more than 10 years or 15 years, at most 20 years. So because they were told to get married early. And so when they give birth, they are also telling their children to get married very early. So all this, they are doing it to protect the family tradition as laid down by the Sharia. That this family line, don't let any form of tainted blood to get into it. And how do they protect that? To protect their children from sinner by getting them married very early. Now, does this mean that we should now say, because Islam says you should marry early, then you can marry a 10-year-old girl, a 12-year-old girl, and all that? No. You still have to conform to the laws of your land. If the laws of your land says that marriageable age is 18 years old, then you have to wait till 18 years old. If the laws of the land says that the only age of consent for marriage in our own rules and regulation is 18 years old, then you have to wait. If they say 16, you have to wait till 16 years old. Now, but people make a mistake when they talk about marrying.
We have to go.
Okay.
We have to go. Ustadh, Jazakumullah khairan. Thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate your time. Okay. Lagos, that's our show. Kofi is next on the Morning Crossfire. Good morning to you.
For news, sports, and talk that you can relate.
If I told you now to come and buy a Shebi for 20,000 naira, that you would quickly get that money out. But if I told you to come and do a health check and you should put down 20,000 naira, you probably say it's very, very expensive.
That's too much now.
Why should I go and dash one doctor? And because people are not paying attention, people are therefore getting sicker and sicker.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's